weird schedule.
It's all good, dude. Yeah, they
Dude,
don't have.
will we get
where
sued
it's
if I'm
planned.
like, party on, excellent.
Nah, dude. No way to get sued for that.
Woo! Woo!
No channel
Woo.
listing yet for the match, so we'll see.
Okay.
But,
We'll see.
yeah, man. We will see. Yeah, you ready to do this?
I'm ready.
All right, cool. What's up, guys and gals? Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Red, White, and the Blues podcast. I'm Daniel, and I'm joined, as always, by the amazing, wonderful, multi-faceted, talented man himself, my main brochacho nacho. Jason, how you doing, man?
Dude, I'm good. Just got off of work. Work's been crazy this week.
Yeah,
I didn't get to watch all the craziness of Chelsea today.
It was crazy.
But you did.
I did.
Thankfully,
I did.
Daniel's representing in the watching department. And but yeah, what's up with you, bro taco?
Nothing much. I did have a shower thought tonight that I'm going to have to come and have a talk with your boss about how that you're no longer going to be allowed to work late because you have more important things like a podcast that gets 10 listeners an episode to do.
Yeah.
That you don't get paid for. So
next season, I'm already like game planning things next season. I'm getting merch. I haven't worn a hat in like a long time, so I'm definitely going to go in the Chelsea hat game and get some hats.
The Tuchel special?
Dude, I'm totally doing the Tuchel special. Yeah. I want it to look like my parents dressed me from the Megastore.
Man.
I love that Tuchel looked like that on the sidelines every time. I always wanted a classy manager like Pep. But if you have to go in the extreme opposite, I think I'm okay with that too.
100%.
Yeah, do a Tuchel.
Yeah.
Man, what a crazy week of football.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we probably won't spend too much time because we are limited in our time tonight because Jason is a busy man. But we did win over the weekend. Apparently. So that happened.
Oh, we didn't do predictions for this game.
We didn't. I don't care. I know I wouldn't have got it right because I thought we were going to lose just going into this match. So
yeah, I don't know what I would have picked
right.
anyway. Yeah.
So it's not like it's going to matter anyway, Jason. It's not like either one of us would have got it right.
Well, we only had 2 games left, and I've already gotten 3 predictions for the season. So
yeah,
I kind of won the match predictions. I guess
you won the match predictions for sure, because I don't think either one of us got it right over the weekend. So But yeah, Chelsea went to the MX today and played a bunch of assholes in Brighton, and the referee, played all 12 of them today, and somehow finished with 10 men and still came out on top 2-1. So yeah, it was. Have you seen any of the replays other than what I've seen? Have you seen the Lamptey potential red card or anything like that? Okay.
I am going in blind. I only know the score. I know James got a red card at the end. I know a couple of the things that you sent me about the ref being an asshole and whatnot. And that's it. That's all that I know.
Yeah, it was just not a... Look, I don't know. I think it's crazy because, all this happened and, now there are... because Wolverhampton came out and said they're challenging VAR and want to do away with VAR next year. On the Premier League, and they're going to put it to a vote. So that should be interesting in the off season. But with that being said, this game was a perfect example of what's wrong with VAR and the problems with it and everything else that comes along with it. So I don't know. It was crazy, but despite all that, Chelsea did win, and that's the most important thing in all of this. Because somehow, Jason, despite how terrible our season's been, despite all the injuries, despite every pot shitting the bed for 3/4 of the season as a manager, we somehow still have a chance to possibly finish 5th in the table if Tottenham the end of their season.
That is insane, man.
It is. I don't know.
Yeah, we have in 2024, in just the Premier League, we have 1, to 3 losses.
Yeah.
In 2024. That is wild.
Yep. 2024 has been a good year to Chelsea so far. Despite, I think everybody's going to look back at the back-to-back matches against Burnley and Sheffield, though, at the end of this year and sort of say what could have been. So we win both of those matches, that would put us, we would be 1 back from Spurs. So we'd be 2 up, 2 points ahead of Spurs going into the weekend with the chance to, if we win or draw, we would clinch European football.
Yeah. Yeah, well, we had Man U in the middle of those, which I forgot about. So we did Burnley. Yeah, Burnley draw. Man U win 4-3. That thriller.
Yeah, that was a crazy game.
And then Sheffield, and we drew the same as Burnley match 2-2, where we kind of blew it in defense in those games. Mm-hmm. So yeah,
and
I'm with you, man. Those are going to be the 2 draws.
Yep.
Like depending on what happens on Sunday, those will be the 2 draws that define. They could be the draws that define the season.
They could be,
in spite of all the things we've done in 2024. So yeah, I don't know, man. Sure. It's weird. It's weird.
It is. It's been a crazy season, though. I mean, like, I don't know. Palmer's got 22 goals now in the Premier League. Only person that scored more than him is Haaland this season. He has more goals and assists, I think, than anybody in the Premier League combined now. Yeah. So I don't know. It's just been this wild ride. And Cuckoo comes back today, scores a goal, which was amazing. Game changer on the pitch today. Amazing performance from Cuckoo coming on in a clutch situation like that. So I don't know. It was a fun game until the 97th minute when they scored.
I mean, man, the stoppage times in games now is just insane. Like, you used to actually be able to watch a game in 2 hours or less than 2 hours. And now the stoppage times are just, I think it's ruining the game. This VAR shit is just insanity.
It is. It takes way too long. If you take the first half stoppage time and second half stoppage time, it'll be like 17 minutes of stoppage time in this match.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother, that's a whole nother quarter of a match. Wait, not a quarter. Whatever, an eighth, whatever it is, Jason. I can't math.
I think it's like, it's like a fifth or something?
Yeah, fifth. Yeah, of the match. So
or sixth. It's a sixth of the match.
It's a sixth of the match. Yeah, sixth of the match. So that's just crazy that we played an extra sixth of a match. And we did, we did the ending of it, the last 13 minutes with 10 men. So that was another thing. I don't know. It was a good game. Palmer had an amazing goal. Still don't know where he came from. Even after the wide angle shot, that dude just ran out of nowhere and just headed the ball into the opposite side of the goal. It was amazing.
Crazy.
It was. And Cuckoo's goal was great. It was great to see the balloon celebration. It was so nice to see the balloon celebration tonight. Today. Whatever it was, the afternoon for us. So, I don't know. It was a fun game. Despite the ref trying to just do his worst job of officiating I've ever seen in my life. It was terrible. Terrible. I don't know.
Man.
I know you don't have much to add because you didn't get to watch it. But
yeah, like, can I steer the conversation to the inevitable? And that is the Poch conversation.
Yeah, here we go.
Did you see his comments? I don't know what they're for. I guess pregame match or something. Comments where they were asking him about his love for the club, and he came out and he was basically like, "Look, I'm not gonna come in here and be fake about it and like just start kissing the badge on the front end of things. Like I want to feel love for the club, and I want to feel love for the club based on my experiences here." That's basically what he said.
Yeah.
Like, how do you feel about that? And I honestly probably would have respected that more if he would have said that in the beginning.
Yeah.
And not praised Tottenham.
Yeah.
Before it played them the first match of the, or not said he always wanted to go back to Tottenham first match of the season, which, and then I'll ask a follow-up question. on the front end, but are we putting too much emphasis on like his ties to Tottenham because he was there for a really long time? I mean, obviously he's going to have those experiences with the club, but at the same time, it's like, dude, you don't talk about the rival when you're at this club. So anyway, I don't know, man.
The whole Poch thing at this point is a catch-22. Like we are damned if we do, damned if we don't. I feel like I think in the long run we're damned if we don't do it. I think in the short term we're damned if we do it. If we do fire him at the end of the season, we're screwed. Like it's you. I think at this point in the season you can't. After what he's done, Palmer even came out and said after the match in one of his comments was something. I'm just paraphrasing on top of my head. Was that we play for Chelsea. We love Poch. We support the manager. And we go out there and play for him. So it's like if your main guy that scored 22 goals this season comes out and says that, you got to put a lot of weight behind it. And clearly he hasn't lost the locker room, which is usually what leads to the manager's downfall. Chelsea, even Potter, like that was, it wasn't at the forefront, but then the reports came out after Potter left about how the people didn't respect him. They made fun of him behind his back. So he had lost the locker room. There's reports that Tuchel had lost the locker room, whenever he left with a couple of players.
It's just easy to make fun of Potter. So,
it is.
I mean,
it really
they picked an easy target.
They did. He was always the scapegoat. But he was always the scapegoat. But yeah, I just think at this point in time, you can't fire him. But in the whole caveat to this has always been, who are we going to get this better? There's nobody out there that's better.
Right.
I view Poch as a transition manager. Mm-hmm. At this point in time, I don't like him. I don't want him here. But at the same time, I can't honestly sit here and say, now that Nagelsmann is going back to the German national team,
right?
Tuchel's not coming here. There's no other manager that I think is good enough to manage us right now. So I think we're just sort of stuck with Poch at this point. Because I don't think De Zerbi is better than Poch. After Poch has beaten him 4 times out of the last 4 matches this year, including preseason, and I don't think Amarin is going to be any better than him either. So it's like I don't understand the point of this. It's switching a manager at this point, and I'm with you. If he would have came out and said what he said at the beginning of the season, instead of saying what he said about Tottenham, like if you replace that quote that he said the other day with the quote that he said about Tottenham, I think people would have a lot more respect for him at that point in time. So, but I get it. He was there for a long time. He has a lot of memories from that club, but you also have to be like aware of the situation. Like you can't you can disagree with people like just in general in life, but you're not going to go around just being an asshole all the time, saying how you disagree with everybody if you're aware of the situation that you're in, because it's just being an asshole at that point in time,
Right.
Like, so.
Hey, we do love our assholes at Chelsea, though.
We do, and I feel like that's what Poch was doing. He was being an asshole, like in that press conference. He was just like he wasn't anywhere aware of the situation that was going on around him. Like, oh, this is a entire London derby. These two teams hate each other. Like, he literally was on the other side of the pitch managing Tottenham in one of the most infamous Chelsea versus Tottenham matches that has ever taken place. So, and he just wasn't aware. That's baffling to me that he would say something like that.
Well, and maybe I don't know. I don't want to defend Poch too much. I mean, you got to kind of give him props. I mean, even Enzo came out and said what he said about him was just like, hey, the club was a mess before Poch got here, and he's kind of stabilized things. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, you and I have talked about it, how we think the players have done really well in spite of some of the decisions Poch has made. But I mean, you got to say Poch's record is starting to speak for itself here at the end of the season. I'm with you, and I go back to the conversation we had about is Poch is he a good long-term manager? Mm-hmm. I guess one of the pros of Poch is that he's bought into a managerial system or I guess an admin system where the manager position fits in a certain way that has less of a role in decision making, and he accepted the job.
I don't know if he's bought into it though. Because it's just some of his recent
I mean, he
comments that
accepted
he's
the
made.
job on those terms.
He did.
That's what I mean.
You're right. Oh, yes,
Yeah.
correct. He did do that. Yeah. I don't know if he's bought into it, though.
I mean, and maybe not, because I think at another press conference, he was like, nobody's asked, everybody keeps talking about whether they want me to stay. Nobody's asked me if I want to stay.
Yeah.
And so he is kind of getting a little fight in him, but at the same time, it's like, I don't know, man. It is a weird place to be in, because I like from the beginning, I wanted to give Poch till this coming December to see where we were. If I had stayed on that, I'd look like a genius now.
You would. You bought into the motions, Jason.
Like the things he was doing were so baffling, and like I don't want to forget, like in the Burnley Sheffield, like in those 3 games where Man United wins tucked in the middle, which was still kind of like a hard fought win. Like I don't want to like forget like even then those feelings that we had. And like where we were in the table, and then like the Arsenal loss comes 2 games after the Sheffield draw, so like it's kind of amazing. Like, and then there's a Villa draw right after that, which was also just like I think we scraped out the draw in that one. So and now we're on a 4-game win streak with a 5-game win streak, and it's like all the teams, it's like we've done just enough, but we haven't done enough. Except all the teams around us have kind of sucked it up.
They've capitulated is what's happened.
And so I don't know if that's like, I don't know. And we've always said you got to make your own luck in this game. And I still think that's true. And we've done that largely to a better degree than we did last season. And so I don't know. I mean, I think that his record does speak for itself in some really good positives, but at the same time, like I agree with you. Transitional manager is probably a good way of putting it. Like long term, do I see Poch as the coach that's going to take us to some really high successes? And he just hasn't proven himself to be that coach in general. Like with the very good Tottenham team that he was able to kind of build and cultivate, and with an already pre-built, like at the top of their form PSG team. Yeah. And he just wasn't able to milk that team for what they needed, or for what they were capable of. I mean, so it's just one of those things where, I think, like we talked about a couple weeks ago, like Poch could be the manager that makes the job desirable again. But beyond that, I think I'm still Poch out in that regard. I mean, I am Poch out in that regard. But
it's a weird place to be.
Catch 22 on the next season. I agree with you completely. Like, we kind of have to keep him at this point. It doesn't mean we have to be crazy happy about it. But like, if the team is jiving and if they're happy with him, then I'll trust the players in that regard, and I'll go with that. I'll just trust the players. Enzo says some good things. Palmer says some good things. There's reports that he has great relationships with the players. That's what we brought him in to do. I mean, that's kind of what he's done. And he might just luck himself or luck himself into European football.
He might.
Like, in terms of Europa, I mean, I think if City wins FA, we're still conference. So,
we're still conference league. If City win the FA Cup, we are guaranteed European football.
So, I mean, we're in an amazing position to get some European football. And we just gotta make it 5 wins in a row, which would be insane to say we finished a season 5 wins in a row. We're already 17 points better than we were last season at this time. Yeah. And we finished last season with a draw. So we will officially be at least 16 points better if we lose. And then we could be a full 19 points better or 20 points better. So, that would be insanity if we were able to do that.
Yeah, and I mean, I feel like with Poch, winning cures everything. Like, if you win and you prove that you can do it on the pitch and you prove that you can set stuff up tactically, then people will start respecting you. And I think that's what Poch ultimately wants. I think he wants people, like, it's weird. He seems very much like he needs admiration from people. Like, he's a people pleaser. Like, he wants that, he wants people to like him. Well, the best way to get football fans to like you, especially if you're coming from a rival club, is to win. So that's essentially what he has to do. And I think, if he starts, if he wins this match, say Tottenham continues to Tottenham, they lose their last match, and we do guarantee ourselves Europa next year without having to rely on the Man City United result, then you can, and then he carries that over into next season, and we start off on a good foot and we have a good couple of months next season, then I think you'll probably start to see the tide change. My biggest concern about all this is people will start figuring out his tactics now, and how is he going to adjust to that? That's the biggest question mark I have on Poch right now. Because I think he does have the respect of the players, which I think goes a long ways. I honestly think one of the biggest drawbacks that he might end up getting in his way and getting him fired is the relationship he has with the board and the sporting directors. Because like you said earlier, he signed up for this, but he said things in his last couple of podcasts, or podcasts, good gracious, interviews. He said stuff to the extent like, well, they didn't really ask me who I wanted to, players. He's like, I told them I wanted experienced players. They didn't give me experienced players. So he's clearly taken some shots at people, along the way. And they're not really uniformed. There's some disconnect there. I know he said, I think in his last pregame press conference, though, I think he said in this past one that they've been talking about who they want to sign this summer. So I think if everybody can get on the same page, it's only going to benefit everybody. But I don't know.
Exactly.
We could go into all the Todd Bowley comments. We're gonna have we just need to save that for the off season. Todd
Bowley's a goober.
He is just a goober. I'm gonna save that for the off season. We're just gonna dedicate a whole episode to Todd Bowley or some shit. I don't know. But yeah, I don't know, man. It's a conundrum. It is a conundrum. I think you're at the point where you just keep Poch because if he had lost the locker room, I would 100% be like, you got to get him out of here, despite him winning 5 matches in a row potentially. Like, I would still just get him out of here. But he still has a locker room. He still has the respect of the players. So I feel like you've got to keep him here.
Yeah,
at this point,
I agree.
I don't like it. Doesn't mean I have to like it, but
and I'm just gonna view it the way I just like if he. I mean, what's crazy is that, right? Like, if we finish Europa this season, then and the team is jiving the way they're jiving. Mm-hmm. And we have, I think, for this last game, we had an injury list of 4, which was crazy.
Yeah, Ugochukwu was on the bench today. Colwell was on the bench today. Chilwell was on the bench.
I think that's the lowest it's been. I think I read somewhere it's the lowest it's been since 2021 or something. It's crazy, man. I mean, and I know, but playing 17 extra minutes of damn football, and you're doing that game in, game out. I want to know the average stoppage times. I'm sure we can find it somewhere. Maybe we'll find it before Championship Sunday. But the average stoppage times. I need to see a graph of that. And to see how that has changed over VAR. My gut is that it's been extended. And that stoppage times are getting increasingly longer.
Yeah, they have. But I think, too, it was during the World Cup. FIFA they wanted people to start doing actual time missed, for wasting time and all that stuff. They wanted refs to start counting that. And so that's where the whole thing started, I believe, was with the World Cup. Because that's where we started seeing the 10-minute stoppage times, 11-minute stoppage times, 12 minutes. So,
and my point with that is, if you're playing another 1/6 of a game, more games than not, then that's only going to increase injuries. That's going to increase the potential for injuries at the very least. So, yeah, man, but I think of the team, if we come out, if we get a win at the very end of the season is huge. I think to finish 5-game win streak is pretty big for us at this.
It is big
in this iteration of Chelsea.
Yeah,
that's a big deal. Like, and if you get Europa League, we went to a cup semifinal, a cup final, and we got back into Europe. If that happens, then the next goal is Champions League.
Yep.
Can Poch get this team to Champions League?
Mm-hmm.
I think that was I a top four Chelsea person after preseason? I think I was. I can't remember our predictions.
I'm pretty sure one of us picked top four. I don't remember.
One of us picked top four and one of us picked fifth.
Yes, that's exactly what I remember too. It was something along those lines.
I think I might have been the top four.
I don't remember. I'm going to look right now.
We won't be super far from that, which is fine. I still think we fell upwards in many ways this season.
Yeah, I agree with that.
But I mean, that's kind of a big deal. Like,
Mm-hmm.
like where we are now versus where we were during the Arsenal game, after the Arsenal game. Like, it's kind of wild to think back to like how devastatingly embarrassing that loss was. And how somehow Poch has eked his way back into like semi good graces. But also we needed all the other teams around us to give us a chance. So it's a lot more positive going into the last game of the season this season than it was last season, where we were like on the verge of, are we gonna? I think maybe a few weeks before the end of the season last season, we were like, okay, we're probably safe from relegation, but still, we didn't get over 40, which I think the 40 thing is kind of a myth, but it's still a good benchmark. But like, we didn't get over 40 until the 34th game, till after game 34 last season. So that's kind of crazy. But like, if the expectation next season is Champions League, then the shit is real, right? Like, the expectation this season was finish better than 12th.
Yeah.
And now the board, I don't know, there's all this crap that's floating around.
Yeah.
And like all of this shit that the board's doing, but like, I don't know. If it is true that they said, no, we demand Europa and we don't want conference, I don't know what that's about. But like, I have, throughout the course of the season, there has been improvement.
There has been.
And there's been individual improvement, and I would say even with Poch, there's been some tactical improvement.
Yeah. Yes.
But I also would say he reverted back, and we talked about this last pod. Like, he's reverted back to a system he was trying in preseason with the inverted left back, and through some injuries and other things, and through like a dedication to playing with players, it didn't quite work out. But with Cucurella at left back and Gallagher in that like mid pivot, that's working out okay. The Mudryk on the left isn't always working, so that's the issue with that.
But we have Nkuku back.
Won.
We have Nkuku back. So going into next year, we have Nkuku or Jackson who can both play out there on the left, which I think is what's
James just blew his chance at playing in the last game of the damn season.
I know.
He's my favorite player. What an ass.
I know.
What are you doing?
You know, I'm predicting it right now, Jason. Preseason, Poch is going to do what he did with Chilwell with Reece James, except on the right in the preseason. You're going to see Reece James at right wing and Gusto at right back. Just throwing that one out there, because he did that in the last match. In the whoever it was this weekend, he did that. He put Reece on the right and had Gusto still in the match. They were both playing at the same time. So, and he was gonna do that tonight until Gusto came off hurt. Like, originally Reece was coming on for Madueke, and then he subbed, and then Gusto's like, no, I need to come out. So that's even more concerning for this weekend. The fact that if Gusto's hurt and Reece isn't playing, that means I guess Chalobah is back to right back. I guess it'll be Chalobah, Silva, Badiashile, and Cucurella playing. But that's my prediction for the preseason.
So is okay, I'm coming back to this.
Come back to it, man. Clip it, Jason. Clip it.
It's clipped. Consider it clipped. Hey, producer, clip that.
And you're talking to our non-existent producer.
Our nameless producer that sits right over there while I... Um,
No, but
yeah.
you predicted Chelsea would finish fifth. I predicted we'd finish sixth.
Oh,
So neither one of us
dude,
predicted top four. So
we were
actually,
close.
depending on what Tottenham does this weekend, it could determine who gets another point. So just
That's
throwing that one out there.
legit. That's legit.
We did pretty good. We did pretty good.
Your more conservative, level-headed prediction might win out here. I predicted fifth. Who the hell do I think I am?
At least you didn't predict top four, man. So I mean, hey, you got to be realistic at times.
I think you and I, maybe we just discussed it heavily when we came.
I think we did. We
Yeah.
did. I remember discussing. Cause I'm like you. I thought I remembered one of us predicting four and the other one predicting fifth. Maybe that was like the year before last we did that.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I do remember us having discussions about whether we'd finish top four. I guess it'll be a even more discussion this offseason.
Yeah.
Where we finish in the Premier League next year, which will be interesting discussions to have.
Oh man, I'm not looking forward to that next predictions episode. That's gonna suck.
Yep. I don't know. Let's see. What else is there to talk about tonight? I don't know. There's not a lot to talk about. I mean, we won. That's the main thing. I feel like we've had enough officiating discussions on this podcast this year because just how terrible officiating's been. I will say this to the audience: Reese, by definition, should have been shown a red card. I don't have an issue with my issue with Reese's red card is because Lamptey wasn't given one before that when there wasn't conclusive evidence. When you can clearly see him throw a shoulder into Mudryk's head, and Mudryk immediately goes off with a concussion. So. That's my complaint about that. VAR terrible tonight. Nico had a goal called off for breathing on somebody. I don't know.
Man.
I'm
gonna have to go watch the highlights, but VAR.
Yeah.
I want to get rid of VAR. I'm an anti-VAR person.
I thought about you whenever Wolverhampton said that they were gonna bring it to a vote this offseason.
I hope so.
And apparently there's several top 6 clubs that want it gone. I don't think Chelsea's one of those. I doubt it. And look, this is my opinion about it. I don't think we need to get rid of VAR. They need to, and Poch said this in his post-game press conference too, so kudos to Poch for saying this. He's like, I'm neither yes or no VAR leaving. He's like, we just need to figure out how to better utilize the technology. And that's what I say. We need to figure out, they need to come up with, I think it needs to be independent arbitrators that are over VAR. It doesn't need to be the damn Premier League officials because they're all corrupt to begin with. You need to bring in the robots for offsides because it literally takes 5 seconds to determine if somebody's offsides or not. It doesn't take these, let's draw 50 lines. That's BS. Get rid of that crap. Bring in the robots. Let them determine if they're offsides or not. It worked perfectly in the World Cup. I don't know why the Premier League can't adopt that. So that's what needs to happen. And then they need to bring in independent arbitrators to be over VAR itself that communicates with the officials. And I think they need to be transparent, or release because I know they had that stupid show now every week where they release audio, but they only do it from select matches. I think they need to release it from every match.
Yeah.
Like, I think those are a few things that you could take steps in with VAR because I think VAR does have a place in the game. I don't think it's right now. They just need to work on improving it. Like, it's got a place because there's human error, and I'm all for human error being mitigated, especially with as terrible as officiating is in the Premier League. Like, because it's just atrocious. Like, they called Nico offsides one time tonight. Granted, he ended up screwing it up, but they called him offsides, and he was onside by a good 2 yards, and they raised the flag. And so, like, it's baffling to me. But that's my 2 cents so far. I'm not going to get into it.
Hey, I think you made a very eloquent case. I can't really fault it. I'm still anti-VAR. I want VAR to go. I want VAR to go in every single capacity. Like, I don't mind robots doing offside. I do not want VAR. I do not like VAR. I think VAR has made refereeing worse. I think
I would agree with that.
I really need to find some time and drill into data is what I need to do. I think it's just at this stage of the game, it's a gut decision. I think VAR has made on-field refereeing worse.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Than it has made it better, and I think it's leading to consequences we didn't realize, like insane amounts of stoppage time.
Yep.
And it, like, we talk about the eye test a lot, right? Like, I think VAR has screwed up the eye test in terms of, like, we no longer trust the game or the consistency of officiating. Not saying that we always did, but like there's a difference between there's a human error and there's a controversy, and there's a difference between there's a human error and then there's another human error, and then there's another human error.
Yeah.
After they let the first human error go back and correct this human error.
And
then now we've gotten like 3 different things, and then we have other like officials on shows coming out like, yeah, I got that one wrong. Like that one's a little harsh. So there's I don't know, I don't want to say hypocrisy, but I'll say consistency. Like
I know consistency, I think, is a good word.
There's just a consistency issue that is causing like a trust issue in the game. I don't even know whether to celebrate a goal or not anymore.
Yeah.
I'm not one of those that's going to celebrate right off the bat. I'm pretty reserved as soon as a goal comes in until I officially know I can celebrate it, because I'm not going to get my hopes up in that way.
And I think your consistency point, you could even take that a step further, and there's a consistency issue on fouls called from match to match. Like, and I understand that, and that's part of the human nature of it. Every referee does officiate matches differently, but I feel like there's even more of a consistency issue when it comes to harsh fouls or when it comes to penalties. Like, there shouldn't be, like, if it's either a red card or it's not a red card. Like, that shouldn't be a consistency issue. It's either a pin or it's not a pin. It doesn't, and that's my thing. Is like they kept harping on whenever Kukurea had the pin shout today, them getting him hitting the ball. Oh, he got the ball. It doesn't matter if you get the ball or not. If you go through the person, Gusto got a red card earlier this season for getting nothing but the ball, and then his foot slid over the ball and it went to his leg, and he still got a red card for it. That's irrelevant to the conversation whether you get the ball or not. And then on top of that, freaking dude knocked it out of bounds. Should have been a corner kick for Chelsea, and the ref does a drop ball instead. So tell me how that makes sense. So VAR goes back and replays it and doesn't even give us a corner. It's stupid. That's it. I'm done. That's the end of VAR rant. Make predictions. What are we doing for this? What are we doing for this end? Chelsea wins. That's all that matters. Up the Blues. What's your prediction for Sunday, Championship Sunday, Jason?
Oh, Championship Sunday.
Bournemouth.
I predict City are going to win the title.
Yeah, probably.
If it's between City, I do not want City to win at all.
Oh, I do.
If it's between City and Arsenal, I 1,000% will pick City every time.
Exactly. 100,000% want City to win the title because it's between City and Arsenal. So
I think we continue to win. I'm predicting a pretty great game. I'm thinking 3 or 4 for us. I think we're gonna be firing.
Okay.
I'm going to go, man, that would be awesome to get a clean sheet. We're struggling with clean sheets, but we did have a red card at the end of this game.
We did.
Just for fun, we have a 6-0 on the season. We have a 2-0 on the season. We have a 5-0 on the season. We already have a 4-0 on the season, but that was an FA Cup. 2-0, 2-0. And we have a 3-0 with Luton Town at the very beginning of the season. I'm going to go a 4-0 Premier League win. Yeah, for the Blues. Home match, last home match.
Yeah.
We're playing for Europe.
Last match.
Silva's last match. I think the team is up for it. I think we got this. I think Bournemouth are mid-table. They're not playing for much.
They're not playing for anything.
I think it'll be a good day at the Bridge. I think they'll be intimidated. I think the fan base is finally into the season. So
we got something to play for, man.
We got everything to play for. I'm going 4-0.
I'm going 3-1. That's been my consensus. 3-1. I do think Chelsea pulls off the victory, and also I'm not putting anything out there in the ether about Tottenham, other than I hope Tottenham keeps Tottenham at the end of the season, and we can sneak in. I don't want to predict anything because I don't want to throw any bad juju or get something back on me for that. So we're just going to leave it at that. Hopefully City pulls out the league. and then hopefully pull out that FA Cup as well.
Ooh, I was worried halfway at the halftime in the City game yesterday. I was a little worried.
Well, I mean, did you see Son missed a 1-on-1 chance with the freaking backup keeper? I'm like,
yeah, dude.
Jeez.
Tottenham, I'm with you. I hope they just continue to be Tottenham.
Just continue to be Tottenham.
That's what we need. But then I will definitely be rooting for. I'm rooting for City and all the rest of the things. That kind of sucks, but whatever.
Did you see Postecoglou he was having an argument with one of the Tottenham fans behind the bench? And the Tottenham fan told him he should lose the match on purpose because he didn't want Arsenal to leave. And he was like yelling back at him. And this is in the middle of the match. Postecoglou turns around and is like, "I'm going to find out who you are. Who are you?"
I am so far behind, man. I'm so far behind.
Dude. Yeah, I think that about, you got anything you need to add, Jason?
That's it. I'm going to go catch up on everything.
All right. Plug our socials, man.
Dude, you can find some amazing writing skills from the Daniel at our Substack. Yeah, I need to help. We're gonna strategize in the summer. This is gonna be good. Okay. I won't be in Aston Villa colors most of the pod. It'll be great. But go read some of our old stuff on Substack. Daniel makes some really good points on Twitter, and the Chelsea fan base is weird on there. So go interact with us on there. See some level-headed arguments being made by Daniel on Twitter. We got YouTube, man. Like and subscribe, all the things. And then we got one more. We're on Instagram.
We're on Instagram. We are.
We need to start doing stories on Instagram. I don't know. I'm too old for this social media stuff, but it is what it is. You can find us on all four of those, though, at Red, White, Blues FC. Read it down below. If you haven't already, that'd be weird, though, because it's going on for 45 minutes.
Yeah. Hit us up on our socials. We are on Apple and Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcast at these days. And also tune into our YouTube channel on Sunday, where Jason and me will probably more than likely be streaming the match on Sunday. I will be in a hotel room in Nashville. So my background will be a little different, but I will be still watching the Blues play. So yeah, y'all tune into that. Y'all come join us, come say hey, whatever. But until then, we'll catch you guys on the flip side.
Dude, Europe? Are you kidding me? How? Falling upwards, flippity floppity.